Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a peek at reverse percentage questions. So a reverse percentage question is when the change has already happened and you're usually asked to work out what the original amount was. So let's get cracking. Okay, so question 1. If I spend 20% of the money I have in my pocket, I am left with £12.80. How much do I have in my pocket? So, what's really important to remember here, the money that I have in my pocket before anything changes is 100% of the money I have in my pocket. Now, if I was to spend 20% of it, I am then left with £12.80. So, in terms of percentages, I'm starting off with the 100% that I have in my pocket. Then I'm spending or taking away 20% of it. Now that leaves me with 80% left. So that then tells me that 80% of the money that I have in my pocket is equal to £12.80. Okay, so I started off with 100%. I've spent 20%, that leaves me with 80%. So 80% of my original amount in my pocket was £12.80. Now, there are many different ways to do these questions. Some rely on your confidence being high with certain methods. We could use decimal multipliers. I'm going to run through a method. I'm going to show you a method in these 4 questions that works for any type of question like this, and hopefully it's not too tricky. So what we want to do, now that we know that we've got 80% of the original amount, we then need to find 1%. Now to find 1%, we simply divide both sides here by 80. Now if we divide both sides by 80, I would get 1% on the left. And on the right, if I do £12.80 divided by 80, I'm going to be left with 0.16, so 16p. Now that tells me that 1% of my original amount of money in my pocket is 16p. Now to turn that 1% into 100%, we multiply both sides by 100, so I would get 100% is equal to 0.16 times 100 would give me £16. So the original amount of money, 100% of the money I had in my pocket is £16. Cracking. Let's look at another example. When water freezes to ice, its volume increases by 9%. What volume of water freezes to give 1962 centimeters cubed of ice? Okay, so we start off with our original amount of water, but we don't know what that is. That's the whole point of the question. What we do know though is that that's 100% of the original amount of water that we started with. Then it freezes into ice. Now we do know here that we've got 1962 centimeters cubed. Now that is after adding 9% to the original volume. So we now have 109% of the original volume of water. Now we're going to use exactly the same method as we did in the last question. We now know that 109% is equal to 1962. If we divide both sides by 109, that will tell us what 1% is. So if you smash into your calculator 1962 divided by 109, you will be left with 18. So 1% of the original amount of water was 18 centimeters cubed. So to work out 100% of our original amount of water, we multiply both sides by 100, which will give us 1800 cubic centimetres. Jobs are good in. Okay, the next example. A phone is in a sale with 17.5% off its sale price. Off its original price. Its sale price is £264. What was the original cost of the phone? So, the original cost of the phone was 100% of the original cost of the phone. In the sale, there's 17.5% off. So if we take away 17.5% from 100, it will leave us with 82.5%. So that tells us in the sale, the phone costs 82.5% of its original price. So that tells us that 82.5% of its original price is £264. So, using the exact same tactic we've used in the last two questions, we would go to find 1%. So to get 1% from 82.5%, we divide both sides by 82.5. Now if you smash that into your calculator, that's going to tell you that 1% is equal to 264 divided by 82.5, which will give you £3.20. So 1% of the original price is £3.20. To get the original price, 100%, we multiply both sides of that by 100, and we are left with £320. So the original cost of the phone was £320. Okay, let's do one more question. Okay, and the final example for this video. So Bob makes and sells cakes. Currently he sells them for £1.80 and makes 20% profit. Bob decides he needs to make 30% profit. How much should he sell his cakes for? So, what we need to do here is work out how much it costs Bob to make a cake and then increase that by 30%. There are cheekier ways to do it, there's certainly much quicker ways to do it, but I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. So, remember that profit is the amount of money that you make after you've made back what you've had to spend. So Bob, when he sells his cakes for £1.80, is making back 100% of the cost, and then he's also making 20% on top of it. So altogether, Bob is making 120% of the amount it cost him to make a cake. So we know then that 120% of the cost is equal to £1.80. Now then, we're going to do this exactly the same way that we've done the last three questions. Find 1%. So divide both sides by 120. We will get 1% is equal to £1.80 divided by 120 will give us 0.015 of a pound. And then if we multiply both sides by 100, we're going to get 100% is equal to £1.50. So what we found there then is that it cost Bob £1.50 to make one of his cakes. He's decided that he wants to make 30% profit, so we need to increase £1.50 by 30%. Now 10% of £1.50 is going to be 15p, so 30% is going to be 3 times that, which will be 45p. So for Bob to make 30% profit when he sells his cakes, he needs to add 45p onto £1.50, so he needs to sell his cakes for £1.95. If he does that, he will get 30% profit when he sells them. Jobs are good in. Okay guys, that's reverse percentages. I might do more videos with more questions, but I hope that's helped so far. Was this video helpful? If so, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment letting me know how you get on. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any videos. For any further information, you can find me on Facebook or Twitter. Search for Maths with Melv. Cheers, guys.